There's a beautiful text called Guru Gita, and it's a really wonderful inquiry into the truth of Guru, and it's presented as a conversation between Shiva, Lord Shiva, and Parvati, and Shiva points to the Satguru, the indwelling Guru. No guru could point you anywhere but there. The Guru Gita says, Guru and God are not different. This I don't know. This I do know. There is one God, comprised of all gods. And there is one Guru, comprised of all gurus. And when we awaken to this self-evident reality, then you will see everything as Guru. Each box. Guru, 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 Guru. and it's true, and what a wonderful way to be in the world. It's tricky too, because like religion, Guru has been co-opted by vanities, and so we must also be very careful. Must be very careful. I can only share with you, my own, and I would say, bow before no man. But when you see the divine in man and woman, bow freely, without hesitation. And actually this is very liberating, in fact. This humility. And then an expression of pranam from this place of humility liberates us from ego. But at the same time, if it's the human that is the Guru, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Well, anyway, in a way, I suppose, the truth is that we have so many gurus already. So many things that we worship and adore that aren't spiritual. And so even to turn one's direction from the world of, our bank accounts, our reputations, our relationships, the world of transaction, to turn to something that is even just symbolic of the inward journey, still outward, because our habit is such a fixation on outward. It's why images of God and Guru, why Murtis. I had a rickshaw driver in Tiruvannamalai, India, whose name was Guru Murti. And through him and his name and his service, I came to know what it actually means. And a beautiful man also. But it was very clear that his humble service, showing me all around Mount Arunachala that Guru was in this Murti, this body. Came to show me truly, in a very particular way, how God inhabits all, in all times. Yeah? To guide us. Now, but the Guru that we speak of, this one is empty. Empty. Free of a personal sense of attraction and aversion. And the one who is empty is a clear mirror to us and comes to serve us so that we can see where we are and where we're going. Guru is nothing more than a mirror. Should have no ambition of his or her own. And in this way, knowing this, testing it out, testing the waters, is there a personal ambition from this one? And if you can see for your own self that by and large the answer seems to be no, then this one is trustworthy, beyond transaction. Hollow on the inside. Knows God. And that from this one, who is trustworthy in this way, everything said is a service, a generosity. It's so uncommon. And I think our skepticism is healthy and good. I remember with Mooji Baba, at the beginning I was watching him so closely. My life, my soul is a lot to place in someone's guidance. To follow somebody is a big decision. It should be taken very carefully. And so I was watching the clothes he wore, how he walked, how he greeted people, how he was with women. Yes. And skeptical and good and cynical even still, because I still was very much of the world where cynicism could masquerade as skepticism. But you see, they're not the same. And I watched, evaluated with as much discernment as I could muster. But something in me knew, it knew. It knew, I knew he belonged to me. And I to him. In a way that I couldn't really articulate at the time, and probably still can't. But I knew. And the skepticism was, and the evaluation was still so important. But I also knew that I would never bow to a man. I would never worship a man. And then probably it was my pride speaking before it was my good sense. And so this was many months. At first on YouTube, watching him on YouTube, and then eventually in person, I went to Sahaja to be with him and watching very closely. And then one day in Satsang, it became so clear. The very mind that I was using to evaluate him was the same mind that I knew of my own self, that I could no longer trust to evaluate even my own life. That this was the mind that in my relationship to it, subservient to it, that had me bound. And I saw it in that moment, that my skepticism was preventing me from my own freedom. And it became very clear in that moment, whatever divinity I withhold from you, I withhold it from myself. If I make some caveat of what is an expression of God and what is not, then I exclude myself from my own realization. So this is the paradox. You must be very discerning. You must be very cautious and slow. And know what you know, but still be slow. And then in a place of readiness, of willingness, of a sincerity that is a deep humility, Guru will reveal himself to you. It will be confirmed. And even still, it's not the man, it's not the woman. So there is so much evidence in the world of abuse. And even gurus on this plane, in this dimension, are still navigating their own journeys. And even when they falter, these ones deserve our love, our compassion, and our great respect that they undertook something greater than themselves, even though they failed. And our judgment of these ones is our judgment of our own selves and prevents us from reaching even as far as they have gone. You know yourself, your spiritual path is not easy. And you can become the great well-wisher for everyone, and in this you can become the great well-wisher of your own self. So this is dancing in the paradox of being incredibly discerning and then coming into an audacious surrender. And I really don't think that Westerners are at a disadvantage at all in relation to Guru. I think that the tradition and the ritual of Guru is just as confusing as the skepticism. Here's what we can know about from our own lives about what is trustworthy and what is not. You can trust something that doesn't need anything from you, that demonstrates over and again, is there to serve you without any compensation. Would just as soon be on their own as to serve. And this is the thing that's so seldom understood about Guru is the servant to the disciple. It is not the other way around. And in this, coming to recognize this relationship, now you see that your servant is bringing God to you, to bring you home to your own self, a mirror. And also, we should treat our servants well. But my suggestion is, if you have a sincere inquiry about this, I would read and study Guru Gita. And we can even arrange to have one sent to you if you're interested. You just put something in the chat or something. Also, Swami Satchidananda wrote a book about guru-disciple relationship. I myself have not read it. But what I found that with Mooji and with Swami Satchidananda, that bringing myself to the place of humility to surrender, I alone benefited. It was no advantage to the Guru that I submitted. And it was no disadvantage to the Guru when I didn't. And also, this is a lesson for us as well of how to be in this world. Give, love, serve. Empty, empty. From this posture, what flows through you will benefit you most of all. Guru is a hollow reed, is Krishna's flute. You be this way. You be guru. And this also, if there is an ambition that a guru might have, it is to be a guru maker. Guru doesn't want disciples, no more than a loving mother wants her grown children living in her basement. A loving mother, not a needy one. Guru knows God, wants you to know God. You also want to know God, yes? And of course, I think it's so obvious, but I'll say it. Guru would never say, I am a guru. Who would say? Who would there be to say that? And then one last thing. Sincerity is your key. Your deep, deep honesty. Total honesty, concealing nothing, no pretense. A total, authentic serenity. From here, you can receive everything that comes through the Guru in an instant. It'll take most of us lifetimes, but in an instant. In fact, one dear friend who's a sage and a Christian mystic and a disciple of Swami Satchidananda, he told me, the first time I saw him, he said, Nataraj, the first time I saw him, he was maybe 50 yards away, and our eyes locked. And I don't know for how long. And some decades later, I realized he had given me everything in that moment. In that moment, that fleeting moment, he had given me everything that he was. And it was just decades of assimilating. Now, this one, like so many, is empty, knows God, but does not take any students. So he's also wise. This is my beautiful friend Bhaktan. And he is kind and gentle and fierce, and he shoos people away that might call him that, Guru. Doesn't he? Chase you away. Smart. There's only one Guru. So many names. Expresses itself through you and through so many. And in Guru Gita, it says something like, even the gods in heaven are not free unless they surrender to the Satguru, the one Guru, the indweller of your own heart. And all this world is a mirror to help you find where you're looking from. And while our minds are in a constant state of fluctuation and our desires go here and there, it's more like a hall of mirrors or a kaleidoscope. But when you attenuate the mind and bring your focus to God and bring your focus to God, then you will begin to see see what you see from where you see it. If this is something that's very difficult for the ego, if you don't like what you see, what you don't like is where you're looking from. You don't like the lens you're looking through. This is what it means, remove not the splinter from your neighbor's eye, but the plank from thine own. The Guru, the empty one, who is a clear mirror, will show you who you think you are. And then when you see this one, you will see that it is all forgiven, and then you surrender, and it is done. And then it is done. When Swami Satchidananda left the body, so many were in mourning. And this is normal. I think would have been wonderful to have a cup of tea with Swami Satchidananda. I never knew the man, never met him, but I know him. But I know him. I know he knows me. And Mooji, I did get to meet. And if he passed, I'm sure there would be some sorrow, but there'd be so much joy in this sorrow. And when an ashram loses their guru, everybody's lost. Why? Why? You don't worship the Murti. Find one that suits you, fine, Find one that fits. Man. The body and the personality. You don't worship the pitcher that pours the water. You might find one that pleases you. It has, it's sort of nice and looks nice on your table. Good. But it's the water you're after, isn't it? And so Guru is nothing more than a water boy. When I heard it said that in his last days, Ramana Maharshi his disciples were mourning in advance his death. He was dying of cancer and refused even to treat his body. He just was tired of darning his sweater, which is what the body is to the guru. Let it be, let it be, let it go. And so anyway, one of the disciples said, Bhagavan, they called him Bhagavan, which means God. Bhagavan, what will we do when you go? He said, where could I go? Where could I go? But do you hear it? Even for the one who spent all of this time meditating at Skandashram, at Dharanachala, meditating with the master, the guru, a great, great guru. And they say, Bhagavan, what will we do when you go? They said, God, what will I do when you're gone? And they didn't even hear it. Bhagavan, what will I do when you're gone? Probably this one that asked this question could have given a dissertation on Guru and God, on how God is everywhere in everything at all times, and still asked the question with a deep sincerity and a concern, mourning the loss of his God. It's not possible. Even when the Murti is gone, Ramana Maharshi still has a very distinctive, I don't know how to say. Many of you know Ramana, don't you? Many of you know Ma. Huh? You know the flavor. There's an essence. And you know that one. And you know them and they know you. Swami Satchidananda said, when I drop this body, I'll be so much more helpful to you. I won't be limited like I am right now, he said. And he said, when I'm gone, you come to my Samadhi shrine. It's called Chidambram in Virginia, at Yogaville Ashram. And you ask any question, and I will answer you. It's true. It's true, isn't it? Yes. It's true. So how can this be? So the guru relationship should not be taken lightly. If at first you enter as some well, I call it a tea party, It's just a nice way to be in relationship. But eventually, when you come to know Guru, you come to know God. And for you, when you know your Guru, you will know God. But your Guru is not his Guru or her Guru. It's not like this. This is something that is so precious and so intimate. It really is this wonderful story about Swami Shivananda from Rishikesh. He was a guru maker. And one man who was to later become Swami Vishnu Devananda came on military leave, traveled to go to meet Swami Shivananda. And Swami Shivananda was walking, and people were coming and pranaming, meaning bowing to his feet. And so Swami Vishnu Devananda, I don't remember what his name was, he hid around the corner so that he wouldn't have to pranam. And Swami Shivananda was, they say, omniscient. Means that he knew the thoughts and the feelings of the ones, at least in his proximity, and probably all of the ones who thought of him was an entry for him to know how they thought and felt. And anyway, so he knew and thought it kind of fun. So he came around the corner, and Swami Shivananda pranamed to the hesitant one. Because, and this wasn't a ploy, I mean it was, but it also was Swami Shivananda saw God in everything and everyone. You know, it gets to be this way, actually. When you become clear, when increasingly as you become empty, you begin to perceive that the personality that people perceive themselves to be is nothing more than the thinnest of veneers. It's like a wispy echo, something past that no longer belongs in the now, and this is the egoic identity. And it's helpful to know, I mean, because this can be seen, and we can see it in our own selves, that, like I said it this way recently, it's like a big soap bubble. And you know, it's the soap bubble is, you know, the soapy film surrounding an empty space, surrounded by empty space. And the egoic identity is nothing more than the forward-facing part of the film. And so constricted, limited in something so thin, not knowing the full scope of even the rest of the film that it is. Yeah. Only aware of this section of something so thin, and also not aware of the vast emptiness that it also is. And that vast emptiness inside of it is not different than the vast emptiness outside of it. And awakening is nothing more than and the bubble is not a problem, but the sense of limitation causes us so much suffering. Take note. When you find somebody who is empty, take note of what you see. And you will also see, the more empty you become, the more you reflect what people are, where they're looking from. You'll notice it in your life. This happens by degree, proportionally. Eventually, it will become so clear to you that what people say about you, they are actually saying about themselves, either praising themselves or condemning themselves. Of course, you're only empty if you have no argument with it. They say what they will. So as you are discerning, also know where it is you're looking from. Be empty. Be empty. Be ever postured to give, love, and serve. The one without pride, the one without arrogance. This isn't a lack of confidence. No, it's the expression itself of a confidence rooted in great faith. And its expression outward is total humility, total service. Says, I am here for you. Because there's no me for this one to be here for. This is happening to you now, proportionally, little by little, as all of the vanities of the ego slowly dissolve. Realize, notice, see what you are becoming. See what you are unbecoming. When one satsang, somebody asked Mooji, do I need a guru? Mooji said, no, you don't need a guru. But yes, you need a guru. And you have a guru. But no, you do not need a guru. But yes, when you understand this paradox, and you probably know your guru.